Bugha Mero and Dukez won FNCS Grand Royale, the biggest Fortnite tournament since Fortnite World Cup, and we're gonna break down, show you how they did it, because it is pretty typical of a Bugha Mero and Dukez team, except this is the first major tournament they've played together. So I'm gonna explain exactly what that means and how these guys have played so well together in such a short period of time. Let's get right to it. Let's start off by talking about each member of the trio and the role that they fill. Bugha, who used to not want to be an IGL, is best when he is leading a trio. He understands the game unlike most people and puts his team in constantly good positions throughout the mid and late games. He understands where he wants to be, he has a plan, and executes on it every single time. There's a couple of different aspects of a Bugha-led trio we will talk about later, but the overall IGL, the intelligence, and the gameplay is what we expect out of Bugha, the former World Cup champ and now the back-to-back FNCS champion. Mero, also the back-to-back, is a very cerebral, one of the smartest, if not the best and smartest controller player in the world at the moment. He is so good at playing his strengths, but not trying to go insane. Then we also have Dukez, who is that insane, crazy mechanical fragger, but at the same time is disciplined. He's not a player running around like a chicken with his head cut off looking for eliminations. He understands the importance of staying alive while also looking for frags and refreshes with his teammates. Altogether, this trio was perfectly crafted to win a championship. This trio landed Misty Meadows. They were able to get the strong side and had to split it with the French Canadians. On the other side, Bugha was able to get the Spire, and they would pretty consistently grab loot at the crash site right to the north of Misty. This gave them plenty of loot to play the game, as well as a solid rotation and loot path moving forward into mid games. Storm Surge was not a one-size-fits-all formula for this trio. Some games it was mid-game tags, other games it was mid-game fights, but overall this trio maintained consistency and really did not run into issues with Storm Surge during mid games and rarely had issues during late games because of the constant work that they were doing as a trio. Storm Surge is a 100% effort all the time looking for Surge. Now, this trio understood that and was constantly getting damage dealt. During mid-game, Bugha was able to find rotates that did not compromise his team's materials or heals. A lot of times you see players spend way too much on a third, fourth, fifth zone rotate. What Bugha, Mero, and Dukez did so well was make these rotations safely without spending too many heals and also limiting the amount of materials they had. This allowed them to be set up for success in these endgames. Now, let's talk about endgame. And there's a few characteristics of a Bugha-led trio that are consistent throughout the Grand Royale finals. One is he's going to create, Bugha that is, a very followable tarp. So both him and his teammates will be able to follow the same path and do so safely. Secondly, he likes to play the left or right sides of zones as well as the front side. I call these the corner pockets. It is the best position to rotate during moving zones that allows you to limit the number of players that are going to be looking at you while you're making these rotations. In addition, they play a mid-ground level. Not often do we see success from these mid-ground levels because you're not going to be able to get those wins or the consistent placement, but Bugha understands different tarping and layering to change layers, put himself in the best position possible, and also bully teams off of their layer if they do get contested. Next is going to be how close these three play together. This is so consistent with a Bugha trio. Every single team he plays with, especially in 8th and 9th zone, these guys are playing shoulder to shoulder and all looking at the same thing. The closer they get together as the game starts to get towards the end of it, they play as a single unit and really work together and strive in these endgames. Now let's watch a full endgame together. I laid the foundation, the bricks of what this trio does well and what is going to allow them to be so successful. But in the end, it's really just awesome to watch them play an endgame because they do so well as an entire trio. The teamwork is phenomenal and it's exactly what you would expect from a Grand Royale champion. At first, we'll see Bugha leading the tarp, and he's cheap tarping because he knows there's not many players around him. But because they're high up, Height is eventually going to watch them, so once Bugha gets to the front side of the zone, he's going to decide to drop down and claim this area. This is very typical of what Bugha likes to do. He wants to be front side and somewhere stuck in the middle chaos. Then the same pattern continues. They work to get front side of zone, establish their position in zone, and then look to bully or take shots on players on their layer or down below them. They are consistently going to look for these refreshes and eliminations. And also, this is going to clear their layer. This isn't just for eliminations, this is also for future protection to allow themselves more space to work with. An acute awareness of their surroundings finds them a launch pad right next to their box. They're going to take this and use it to get to the front side of zone. Now that they're on front side, they're in a great position to own and dominate this space. They're looking for more refreshes on players on their layer and forcing them off this position. It's the whole trio, not just Bugha, not just Dukez, not just Mero. All three of them are looking to make plays for those refreshes. That allows them to be more successful because you have more health as a trio and you're going to deal more damage as a trio. So just mathematically looking for eliminations together is going to work out in your favor more often than not. Eventually they do find one of them, and it is going to put them in a great position to play the rest of this game out. We're in the final zone, and look how close they are right now. They've claimed the middle ground layer, but that is not important in 9th zone. You either want to be top or bottom and not stuck in the middle. This trio recognizes this and then looks to make a play to win the game. Unfortunately for them, this is not the win that they're able to achieve, which happens later on in the tournament, but nonetheless, I really like this picture from them and the idea to go make a play to win as opposed to just sit here on the mid ground hoping that everything works out for the best. It's a shame this is the last major trio tournament of the season because this trio has come together and played so well. It would be awesome to see them replaying and reloading for another season, another year of trios. Yet we don't have that, so we just get to enjoy Grand Royale and the excellence that we saw on display. The pure consistency, the overall ability and teamwork by a trio that just merely came together a few weeks ago. Now, that is all I have for you guys. I want to say thank you for watching. I am Somebody's Gun, and I will see you guys next time.